So Eddie Guerrero, technically on paper, is my uncle. He's my dad's youngest brother. There's 18 years difference between him and my dad. So when my dad was 18, Eddie was born.
Yeah.
When my dad was 21, I was born. So we would joke because Eddie was my grandfather's late mistake and I was my dad's early mistake. Both mistakes, both weren't planned, weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And we're here. So, but we were 3 years apart. So we grew up as brothers.
Of course.
In the Hispanic, Hispanic culture, you always have an uncle that's like, sometimes you're older than your uncle,
Yeah.
But, so we grew up as brothers, 100%. And we just, we love like brothers. We fought like brothers. We were just brothers. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
So now just fast forward to wrestling. Eddie was really good. We knew he was really good. But back in the day in wrestling, if you weren't 6'8", 300 pounds or 280, you were, passed over a little bit. You could be a cruiserweight, but in fact, Jim Ross one time said, Eddie was expiring. I want to be world champion someday. And even Vince was like, okay. And even Jim Ross was like, well, you're a cruiserweight.
Right.
You're a cruiserweight. I was told the same thing by Vince, the same exact thing. When I was running with Ray and I was like one of the hottest heels in the company. And I told Vince, I want to be a bigger part of this company. He goes, well, Chavo, you're not 6'8". That's what told me. And I was like, I know, thank God. I go, when you see Brock Lesnar come out, I go, that's a different kind of heat than what I bring, a different kind of heat. And he thought about it. He goes, interesting. And his mindset started changing around that time. So then fast forward back to Eddie, and Eddie he was so good. And we all knew he was so good. And then they took that chance on him. We were still tag teaming and we were Los Guerreros and we were hot.
Yeah.
And they wanted to split us up because they knew where they wanted to go. And Vince goes, you guys together, I have one match. You guys separate, I have two matches. And we're like, okay. So we knew where he wanted to go with Eddie and make him the heavyweight champion, me the cruiserweight champion. So that happened, and man, he just took off. He just became this pop culture. But then, unfortunately, like a Bruce Lee, like a Jim Morrison and Elvis and Alanis Morissette, he died at this height. So he's cemented. We already knew that he was one of the best of all time, but after he passed, that's when everybody started recognizing him.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody started going, wow, he was really, 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 really good. WWE included. The night before Eddie passed, we had a conversation. I mean, the night that he passed, basically, we were flying to Minneapolis. Eddie was living in Phoenix. I'm an OC. I flew, connected through Phoenix, and then Eddie comes on the plane. I'm like, hey, man, I didn't know you were going to plane. We sat next to each other, took the ride to the hotel together. We always get our separate rooms, just get a little time apart. And he was telling me on the ride there, because, they were he wasn't the champ at the time anymore. He had lost the championship. And he told me, he goes, I thought they were going to give me the strap back, the championship back, but they decided not to. They're going to give it to Randy, Randy Orton. And he goes, you know what? It's totally cool. I'm happy. I'm happy for Randy. In fact, I called Randy and let him know. So even before that, he was being passed over. And then after he passed the next morning, 7 a.m., things changed. And now they're like, God, he's one of the best of all time. He's one of the greatest, this and that. But even before he passed, and unfortunately, he had to pass for him to be recognized like that. If he was still alive, I don't know if he ever would have made it, because he was already he was breaking down already. His body was breaking down. I don't know how much longer he would have stayed in the business. Right. I think he probably would have left within a year or two.
Right. The wear and tear of the business. Huh?
Yeah, just because, his mindset, I knew him so close, and man, we had conversations about leaving, He was like, God, I just don't know how much longer I can do this. Yeah. So, unfortunately, that sometimes it just look at Bruce Lee, same type thing. He was always recognized as he's great, but now he's the best of all time because he'll always be remembered at his height.
Of course.
He never declined.
Yeah.
And that's the same with Eddie.
The WWF era.
Yeah.
Give me your 5 top WWF. And it could be with Vince McMahon Sr. era. Doesn't have to be Vince McMahon Jr.
Sure.
Give me your 5.
Man, the top 5 that were for me that resonated, were, of course, you got to say Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan back in the day was the man. He kind of brought wrestling to what it is.
Yeah.
Since then, he's had some issues and stuff. Okay, we won't talk about that. But back in the day, like a Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino was super popular and super huge. Pedro Morales. Pedro Morales.
Classic.
He was the WWF champion back then too. And also Superstar Billy Graham. Superstar Billy Graham was...
He was before Hulk Hogan. He was the OG.
Hulk Hogan before Hulk Hogan. If you go back and look at the Superstar Billy Graham, he was like the guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy. That's kind of people that I remembered, the Wild Samoans,
Alpha and Sika.
Yeah. All those guys are the ones. And of course, Andre the Giant.
Yep.
Andre, I first met Andre when I was 7 years old at the Olympic Auditorium in the dressing room. And he's there. And, he was good friends with my family. So my dad goes up to him and goes, he goes up to me and goes, hey, go ask him. I'm looking at him, this giant.
Andre.
They're all giants, but he was the giant.
What year is this?
76, 77. So my dad goes up to me and goes, hey, go ask him if he's really Andre the Giant. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. He's like, go ask him.
Yeah.
So we're in the dressing room, all the wrestlers around. And I went up to him and I said, excuse me, he knows I'm, one part of the Guerreros. I go, are you really Andre the Giant? And he put out the biggest laugh, like the biggest, deepest laugh. Wow. And he looks at my dad, goes, Chavo, you funny man. And they both all had a laugh about it. And I was just kind of like, well, of course he's Andre the Giant. Hey, look at him. Are you really Andre the Giant? It's like,
you didn't have to ask.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like classic. I'm gonna give you my 5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 70s. I gotta go Andre. Starting with Andre because there was no one like Andre. Andre, what he represented to WWF,
right?
He was the stamp, right?
Right.
Before Hogan, in my eyes, Andre was always that guy. So I'll start with.
Is he
Andre.
the best big man to ever wrestle?
Ever.
We've had, obviously, there's been the show.
Yeah,
and some
there's so many big men
fellas
that come. You can go Kevin Nash. You can go the show. You can go El Gigante. But Andre was the OG in my eyes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So Andre. Then I'm going to go one of the most prolific men on the mic. He didn't even have to wrestle. He just talked his ass off. Roddy Piper.
Oh, he's a mentor to me. He's like a second father to me.
The Hot Rod. That guy, his mic skills, he was dope in ring because he could box too. He had like that jab and he was just a great performer.
But it was his mouthpiece that set him apart.
Bro. Hot Rod.
He just talked the most.
Piper's Pit. Come on.
My dad said, because him and Roddy Piper had they're best friends, but had a huge rivalry here at the Olympic Auditorium. I can tell you about that in a little bit after you tell me your 5. But Roddy my dad said that if he wasn't a wrestler, he could have been a comedian. He was so quick and witted. Like he was so fast. You just couldn't get one up on him. He always zings you no matter what.
So Roddy Piper. I'm gonna go because I was big into martial arts too. I got to go Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Great worker, in-ring worker, one of the best. Ric Flair said it best. He said working with Ricky Steamboat was always a pleasure because he was such a great in-ring worker, right? And he's just the dragon, his whole mystique as a martial artist. And he just represented something that I was really fascinated by. Number 4, because my name is Jimmy, the Superfly.
Ooh.
And he would jump off.
That top rope.
Oh my God,
that top rope move was iconic.
Bro, and I know we won't get into the dark stuff because I'm about uplifting, right? Yeah. So for me, Jimmy Superfly Snuka at that time, especially when he battled, when Roddy Piper put the coconut over his head.
Yeah. Oh, that was a shoot. That was like a real coconut.
That was real, bro.
Gimmick that we called it, not like cut. They would just hit him with a real coconut.
Yeah.
No,
that was real.
It was like
dude.
hard and broke the coconut over his head. And that's how tough Jimmy Snuka was.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go one more because.
Well, yeah, that was 4. You got one more.
So I'm gonna go. There's a tie.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go culturally. At that time, because I grew up 80, like 75 was when I was born. Then I started watching wrestling in the 80s. Tito Santana really spoke to me.
Great guy.
Arriba, like all the little things that he did, spoke English and Spanish to me as a kid from East LA. I was like, yo, Tito Santana. And in the cartoon special, watching that in the morning. So I'm gonna go Tito Santana, and I'm also go Tatanka because of his native heritage.
Yeah.
And so that makes me like the native side and the Mexicano side. So I'll go that. Those are my 5.
Those were huge. Those were all iconic wrestlers, and those top 5 can stand up against any.
Okay, so this is a great question for Chavo, because I know you've been both. But mostly, do you feel better being a heel or babyface? Because I know when you started, you were a babyface.
The Guerreros are straight up heels. 100. There's no doubt. Now we get popular, so now they want to cheer you and stuff. But our best thing is being heels. So when Eddie and I we first started, before we even Los Guerreros, we were just Eddie and Chavo Guerrero as a tag team, right? And we grew up with the wrestling ring in our backyard, so it was that everything we did on TV was just the stuff we used to do in the backyard.
Right.
So we just brought it to TV and kind of made it really, kind of big. So at first we were heels. They hated us. And that's where the first cheat to win, our motto came around, because we would never win with anything pretty. We would always cheat to win. They're like, why don't you guys do like double frog splashes? We're like, why? Why would we ever do something to get clapped? Mm-hmm. We never wanted this. You guys suck, but that move was really cool, so we're going to clap. As a heel, I never wanted to clap. I wanted to boo. I wanted people spitting on me. I wanted people in Alabama calling us spicks and Mexicans and beaters. That's what we wanted. I mean, if they weren't doing that, we weren't doing our job. Yeah. So, that's where we were at. So when we went to Vince McMahon and said, hey, Vince, we have this idea. We want to do some vignettes, backstage stuff, to where, we're like doing some light cheat steal stuff, and we're, stealing baby bottles and stuff. And he was like, oh, I love it. That's great. Let's do this. Mm-hmm. Well, by the end of that day, we went up to him when he was still eating catering on a SmackDown and pitched this idea. By the end of the day, they're like, okay, so we're flying, you're already in LA. So we're flying Ellie out to Beverly Hills, and we have this house rented out, and we have, it was like a movie set. Mm-hmm. We had trailers and catering and all this stuff. We thought we were just going to do backstage, like vignette stuff. They made this whole production out of it. So me and Eddie looked at each other and we're like, God, we got to knock this out of the park. So we did that, and we were heels. They hated us.
Can you describe what a heel is for people?
Heel, we're the bad guys. We were like, the heel means the bad guys. We're like the Denzel Washington from Training Day,
Mm-hmm. The villain.
No Country for Old Men, the heel, and that was his name, Bourdain. He was
Javier Bourdain.
Yeah, Javier Bourdain, one of the best of all time. That character, people hated us. We never. That's what a heel is, a bad guy, really bad guy. Then when one of those vignettes aired, and the first one was like this, us stealing the baby bottle stuff, whatever. We walked out after that aired, and they cheered us. And me and Eddie looked at each other, and went, "Ah, crap! Yeah, we're baby faces. Yeah, like what happened? We did not want to be good guys, no matter what." We talked to Triple H, and Triple H goes, "You guys got entertaining. You made them laugh. Yeah, so." You guys did right away. We went from one day being heels to being good guys, without a turn, without like saving somebody or saving a burning baby from the Tower Inferno. No, we just did those vignettes, and next thing you know, we were good guys. So we were like, okay, so let's make this work. We're still gonna lie, cheat, and steal, but we're gonna do it in acute ways now. Mm-hmm. And that's where like Eddie came up with hitting somebody with a chair, or going to hit somebody with a chair, but hitting the ground and throwing it to the person. As the referee turned around, he would lay down, and then the referee would turn and see the bad guy with the chair in his hand and think that he hit Eddie. And that's where all that stuff was still like cheating, but it was cute style.
It was genius, dude.
Yeah. So that's where I came around. But we are straight up heels 100%.
So you guys garnished a lot of heat at that time period. Tell us about one of the most like the scariest moments that you can remember, or one of those like, whoa, what, you know, how do we get out of this moment?
Right. So it's a little bit different in WWF. You know, we had, you know, the guys that, so I grew up in a time when my family, my dad and the brothers, they were so good at being heels that they would be fighting their way back to the dressing rooms. And one time my mom was telling me, she just passed away, God rest her soul. But she was telling me that they had to sneak out the dressing room window to get out of there because people wanted to kill them so bad. Because back in the day, they believed. They believed like they wanted to kill you. It wasn't just a show. It was real to them. My grandfather was the original heel of Mexico. And he was such a heel that somebody shot at him in the ring and they missed him and killed a lady in the front row. Wow. True story. They tried to kill him.
What year was that?
That was like 50s. You know, so that's the heels that we wanted to be. And we got to that point at times, but, you know, it was just a different time to where, they're not going to try to come after you with knives anymore. The reason Roddy Piper wore his leather jacket to the ring all the time is because he was getting stabbed walking out in the Olympic Auditorium, the Olympic Auditorium, the dressing room's kind of downstairs. You'd come up the stairs. It wasn't like WWE now with the big, the big set. No, you would come up right down the aisle. And he was getting he had to start wearing a Kevlar leather jacket because people were stabbing him. And that's how wrestling was back in the day. In fact, when I was a little kid, I'm at my grandfather's house. He's just my grandpa, right? That's my grandpa Gory. And I'm watching TV and I see somebody on TV and they get stabbed. And I go, oh my God, I'm a kid. I'm, 6, 7 years old. And I go, oh man, that must hurt. And he looks at me and goes, no, it doesn't really hurt that much. And I'm like, what? And he goes, no, I've been stabbed, 6, 7, 8 times. He goes, you don't really feel it. Now, the next day you might feel it after you get stitched up. And I was like, who is this guy? But that's how they used to be.
Right.
Those were the heels that we aspired to be. So when we would, have meetings with Vince McMahon, and he'd be like, you damn Guerreros. He's like, you guys thrive on heat. I love it. You guys want the more heat, the better. He goes, half of these guys in this locker room, I can't give them that heat because they're scared of it.
Yeah.
You guys thrive at it. And we're like, I wanted to fight my way back to the dressing room every night. That's how it was back then.
That's right, y'all. It's Taboo Nawasha, and I hope you enjoyed geeking out with me and going straight into geek mode. For more information, for more videos, subscribe, like, and comment. Share with your friends. Much love. There it is. Comics and Kicks.